Dave Campbell's Texas Football is the official rankings provider of the Associated Press. We've been that for the last 2 years. We put out the most respected Texas high school football rankings anywhere in the state of Texas. And each week here on Texas Football Today, we unveil them. Your Week 7 Dave Campbell's Texas Football Associated Press official Texas high school football rankings are as follows. We will start with Class 6A. In 6A, little bit of shakeup. Specifically, DeSoto makes a nice jump from number 10 to number 6. Their big win over Converse Judson. Also up a few spots are Spring Westfield with their win over Fort Bend Hightower, and Cy Fair with their win over Cy Park. Elsewhere, another big winner, Bridgeland. They take down Alvin Shadow Creek, who tumbles to number 15. Bridgeland up 9 spots to number 14. 3 newcomers to the rankings. Number 22, Flower Mound Marcus is 2-0 with a 27-10 win over McKinney. Number 23, Temple. They are 2-0 with a 28-13 win over Magnolia West. And Katy Taylor moves into the rankings at number 24 with their win over Richmond George Ranch. To 5A we go, where not a whole lot of changes in the top 6. In fact, none of them. Ryan, Highland Park, Lancaster, Richmond, Foster, Manville, and Cedar Park. Longview bounces back with a big win over Marshall. They are up a spot to number 7. College Station up 2 spots from number 10 with their win over Fort Bend Bush. Frisco Lone Star tumbles from number 7 to number 10. They hang on. Amarillo Tascosa drops out with their loss to Midland Lee. And in their place at number 9, Lubbock Coronado, whose 28-0 win over Lubbock Cooper. Awful impressive. Over 5A Division II, a few idle squads, including Ennis, but Aledo stays number 2 with their win over Frisco Lone Star. A&M Consolidated up 3 spots to number 3 with their win over Leander Rouse. Wichita Falls Rider up to number 4. Fort Bend Marshall drops a spot with their very narrow win over Fort Bend Elkins. Frisco up a couple of spots. Mansfield Timberview was idle. They remain the same. Bernie Champion up a spot. Lubbock Cooper tumbles from number 3 to number 9. Marshall drops out with their loss to Longview. In their place, Texas High. 24-3 winners over Denison. They crack the top 10 at number 10. To 4A we go, where chalk.
Big time chalk.
A lot of chalk. Literally exactly the same. Argyle, Lane Passes, La Vega, Calhoun, Cal Allen, Canyon, Melissa, even with their loss to Argyle, but that's Argyle. Springtown, El Campo, and Fredericksburg. A lot of idols. Lane Passes, Calhoun, El Campo, and Fredericksburg were all idle. 4A Division II we go, where almost all chalk. West Orange Stark nudges above Pleasant Grove for the number 2 spot as Pleasant Grove loses to Carthage. Carthage maintains their stranglehold on the number 1 spot. Everything else exactly the same. Jasper, Belleville, China Spring, Gilmer, Iowa Park, Wimberley, and Center round out your top 10. To 3A Division I we go, where the top 4 are unchanged. Brock, Grandview, Pottsboro, Malakoff. Shallowater up a spot with their win over Brownfield. Yoakum was idle, but they nudge up a spot. Mount Vernon beats Commerce. They're up another spot. Wall and Llano idle, but they nudge up a spot. Hallettsville at number 5. Their loss to Jim Ned knocks them out of the top 10. In their place, Jim Ned, number 10. They knock off Hallettsville 24-21 and find their way into the top 10 in 3A Division I. Over in 3A Division II, do you like chalk? Because here's some chalk. Exactly the same. Canadian, Gunner, Dangerfield, East Bernard, Poth, Spearman, Franklin, Lexington, Idalou, and Childress. Of note, Canadian beat Spearman by forfeit. Yes. As a result, they both remain exactly the same. Canadian stays there. You're wondering, Spearman lost, quote unquote. They stay the same at number 6 because, in our opinion, the loss is not indicative of the quality of the team. And this is supposed to be a ranking of the quality of the team. So Spearman, despite the loss, will drops to 5-1, but they will stay the same at number 6. That is of note. Also of note, we count Canadian at 3-1. It is the official position at Dave Campbell's Texas Football that you can only play 1 game per week. The Spearman game has to count because it's a district game. As a result, Canadians' win over that team from Kansas will go down in our books as a scrimmage win. That is our books. I'm certainly willing to have conversations about that, but Canadian moves to 3-1 with their forfeit win over Spearman. To 2A we go, where almost all chalk, 1 through 8.
This is such a Week 7 ranking system.
Shiner, Refugio, Post, Lindsay, Joaquin, San Saba, Crawford, and Timpson all unchanged at the number 8 spot with 4 of those teams Idle, the rest of them winners. St. Augustine nudges up a spot with their win over West Hardin. And into the rankings, number 10, Sundown, who cracks the rankings despite not even playing. Good to be the Roughnecks. To 2A Division 2 we go, where, again, mostly chalk. We do have a newcomer to the rankings. We'll get to them in a moment. But Mart, Hamlin, Wellington, and Windthorst and Wink all unchanged. Wheeler, Albany, Christoval, and Falls City all up a spot. Vega cracks back into the top 10 with their win over Clarendon. They replaced Clarendon in the rankings. To Class 1A, with the help of Granger Huntress of SixManFootball.com, our Dave Campbell's Texas Football Six-Man Football Insider. A few changes here. Rankin nudges ahead of Borden County, who was idle, as Rankin beats Nueces Canyon. Happy, a big mover. Their win over Meadow jumps from number 5 to number 9. May and Lakey the same. Union Hill beats St. Joe, drops a couple of spots despite that. Jonesboro down a spot with their win over Bryson to make room for the aforementioned Happy. And due to the rankings, Idle Knox City nudges into the top 10 at number 10. To 1A Division 2 we go. The top 4 unchanged. Balmorhea, Richland Springs, Motley County, and Jonesboro, or Calvert rather. Groom up 2 spots with a win over Miami. Klondike up 2 spots. They remain unbeaten with a win over Whitehare. Jayton down 2 spots despite beating Roby, but that's to make room for Groom and Klondike. Follett up a spot. Strawn down a spot. And new to the rankings, 5-0 Fannondale out of Ladonia. Fannondale into the top 10 at number 10. To the private school ranks we go, where it is unchanged in the 11-man ranks. Parish Episcopal, Fort Worth Nolan, Trinity Christian Cedar Hill, and Plano John Paul II, all winners. Cornerstone was idle. They remain number 5. And in the 6-man ranks, also unchanged. Austin Veritas, Fredericksburg, Heritage, New Braunfels Canyon, or Christian rather, and Bastrop Tribe consolidated at number 5, all winners. Dallas Lake Hill was idle. They remain the same at number 4. You can find these rankings at texasfootball.com/rankings. We are the official rankings provider of the Associated Press.